Okay, let's add some radio buttons to the form. I call them radio buttons. People call them option buttons. Um, it's whatever you want to use. They look like this. They're these things here, option buttons. I guess people call them option buttons. So what we want to do is is have something is have another label. So let's put a label here. And this label is going to be marital status. I'm going to move it over here. And I'll change this to LBL marital status. And now I can put my option buttons on the form by doing something like this. Option button 1. So here's option button 1. I want 3 options, so I'm going to just copy this and put another. I'll put them below each other, and I'll copy that and put that one below each other. And now I have 3 option buttons, and I'll change the names of each one. This one's going to be OPT underscore married. This one's going to be OPT underscore single. And this one's going to be OPT underscore divorce. And I forgot to change the caption as well. Divorced. The single one is going to say single. And the married one, oops, it's going to say married. Now let's take a closer look at these option buttons. There is a property down here, and it's called group name. Notice that it's blank for all 3 of them. So if I run this, see what's happening? These are sort of in a group because they all have the same group name, even though it's blank. If I put in here the group name of marital status for this single option button, and then I hit play, look what happens now. Because they don't all have the same group name, married and divorced have a blank group name. So they have the same group name, it's blank. So you can only select one within the group. So this is the concept of a group. When you set a group name, when you use an option button, you can only select one option within that group. And if you change the group name, if you have multiple group names and multiple buttons, then you'll get in a situation like this, where I can never unselect single because there's only one option in the group. So you can't unselect it. It's the only thing. It's the only option. So the group name determines what buttons are grouped together, and if a button is grouped together, if buttons are grouped together, you can only select one button within the group. So I want all of these buttons here, married, single, and divorced, to be in one group so that I can only select one answer. So let's do that. I'll just go over here to group name, and I'm going to change them all to marital status. Then I'll change the single to marital. Oh, it's already changed because I did that before. And then divorced, I'll do that as well. And now if I run this, I can only select one option from these 3 options, married, single, or divorced, because they all are in the same group. They all have the same group name, which is marital status. And And now I can add a column here on my worksheet that says marital status. And I can put that marital status on my worksheet by going into this, going into the code, double clicking on that button, and doing something like this. I'll do this, put a comment here, find marital status. To do that, I'm going to do if opt underscore married dot value is equal to true, then else if opt underscore single dot value is equal to true, then else, and if. So now I can handle the three cases. If they selected the married option in the married button, or the married option button, then that value is going to be true. If they didn't select that, I'm going to check if the single option button is true, if they clicked it. And if not, then I know they clicked the divorce one. So I can do this. I can do cells x row comma 4 dot value is equal to married, and here the value is going to be single, and here the value is going to be divorce. So all I'm doing in this if statement is checking what option button they selected. If I run this now, if they select married and I put in a name here, Mary, I feel bad, enter. Look what happened. It says Mary, I feel bad, 25, and then married is the marital status. If I close this and run it again by doing this, I'll put in Mary. I'll just put OK. And what if I don't select anything? Then you're going to get divorced here. You see that? So that's a little bit of a problem. So what we can do is then add some error checking down here. We could do another if statement by doing something like this. If opt dot divorced opt underscore if that value is false, if they didn't select anything, so this error check here is what if they don't select any button, any option button? We'll put a message box like we did before with our error checking, like you must select a marital status, and then we'll exit to sub. So how do I know that they didn't check anything? It's because if they fall into this else statement, the married option is false and the single option is false. Both of those are false. That means they could have only selected divorce, or they could have selected nothing at all. And if they selected divorce, then I'm going to put the value on the worksheet. If they didn't select divorce and everything is unchecked, or not unchecked, but they didn't select an option, then I'm going to show a message box and then exit the subroutine. So we can go here and we can run it, put in Mary, do select, I feel good, and let's not select anything. And we get a message box. You must select a marital status. Okay, I'll select the marital status, married, or no, I'll do single. And now I get single here on the worksheet. Mary, I feel bad, 25, single. Excuse me. So that's how option buttons work. The two main components are, not two main components, but this group name is very, very important here. Where's it at? Let me just show you one thing. Here it is. Group name here. Notice if I add a radio button and just put it down there, the group name is blank. And all these have a group name of marital status. So just to show you again, this is very important. When you do this, you can only select one of these three, but you can select this one all the time. So you could, if this one, in order to be a part of this group, it has to have the group name set to marital status. And the other thing is, if you want to set a default value for your button, your radio button or your option button, you can do that by going to userform initialize, double click on the userform, and you could do something like this. If you want to have the married or the single as the default, all you need to do is do opt_single dot value is equal to true. And then when you run the code, when it pops up, single is set to true because you did that in the initialize subroutine. You might not want to do that though, because people might not select the right thing. You sort of want to have them choose something themselves without giving them an answer, because what if they see it's already filled out, then they won't do anything. They won't select the right answer. And then you can always error check, like we've been doing. We've been error checking. One important point is, when you're dealing with these option buttons, to know if they selected it or not is just a simple, is it true? True means they selected it. False means they didn't select it. And if you want to set it true, you just do dot value equal to true or dot value equal to false. Dot value equal to true, like we just saw, it selects it. Okay, in the next video, let's see what other controls we can deal with. We'll deal with checkboxes. All right, carry on.